We in Ukraine and you, dear world, today mark 365 days since Russia's full-scale invasion. Good afternoon. It is usual time to wrap up some hard things into easy terms with Henry Keane on UATV channel for the whole free world directly from Ukraine. 362 days out of 365 days of full-scale invasion came as a surprise for Putin since he planned a 3-day invasion in Ukraine. Why? Well, it is obvious. The liberation of Ukraine from us, Ukrainians, and then to free the whole world from freedom. And the Russian nation said, okay, whatever, it's just Ukrainians. Disposable nation. We're just going to survive this 3 days of crime and shame, and then you, our indispensable Tsar, will conquer new lands for us. We will then forget it by calling it our land. Due to his fascist, neo-imperial and expansionist ambitions, Putin made a fatal mistake. Russian propaganda claimed Ukraine would only last a few days. In reality, Ukraine had not only stopped the invasion, but has also been able to free nearly half of its newly occupied territories through successful counteroffensives. Russia has become a global pariah. And don't say we never warned you.
У нас найкраща армія в світі. У нас найкращі командири.
We have the best army in the world. We have the best commanders. We have the best soldiers because they have been through the war. We Ukrainians are very peaceful people. We are very hardworking and very talented. But if the enemy comes to our land, we will kill. Glory to Ukraine.
Слава Україні!
Those pseudo-liberals and those who are safe sitting on their sofas and in their high chairs, talking things and not so much doing them, they say peace is better at any cost. Better than what? Better than giving up our lands and future to be devoured by an outdated Russian dictator? Better than forgetting what his murdering army had done in Bucha, Borodyanka, Makariv, Izum, Kharkiv, Kherson, Kiev? And doing right now, as I'm trying to explain somehow hard things in easy terms to those lazy with society who do not take the trouble to walk in our shoes. Better than forgetting our wives being raped, children driven into Russian slavery, our cities shelled and ruined. Better than being Ukrainian and standing for our homeland with guns in our hands fighting against a treacherous trespasser who calls you brother, yet is not his own brother's keeper and stabs you in the back and kills you and wants to bury the body in pit so as to avoid responsibility. No fucking way. We won't agree to anything but freedom. Freedom of speech, love, future, freedom of choice to choose who to call brother and who enemy.
Ми не підняли білий прапор.
We did not raise the white flag and began to defend the blue and yellow. We were not afraid. We did not break down. We did not surrender. The symbol of this was the border guards of Zminy Island and the road they told the Russian warship. Our faith has grown stronger. Our morale has been reinforced. We endured the first day of a full-scale war. We didn't know what would happen tomorrow, but we realized for sure every tomorrow is worth fighting for. And we fought. And we fiercely fought for every day. And we endured the second day. And then the third. 3 days that were predicted to last. They threatened that in 72 hours we would not exist. But we survived the fourth day and the fifth. And today we have been standing for exactly 1 year. And we still know every tomorrow is worth fighting for.
On contrary to what the Ukrainian turncoats and corrupt peacekeepers bought by Russia are trying to prove, no, not every war is bad. A war is good when it is the war. The war is good if that is the war for your freedom on your land. The war is good if it is the war for your love, for your future, for the happiness not to wake up from air raid alerts blaring in the air, not to see your family torn to shreds by shrapnel. The war where you have no option but to win. So we won't ever agree to anything that keeps Ukrainian territories occupied and puts our people at the aggressor's mercy. Russia must be stopped now because appeasing the monster would lead to more atrocities sooner or later in Ukraine or elsewhere. We will continue the war for as long as it takes. In the face of Russian genocidal aggression, we simply have no choice but to win this war. We are sincerely and deeply grateful to all our allies in all states and individuals of the world for their support in our fight against evil. That is why we need more weapons, artillery and ammunition, tanks, long-range missiles and fighter jets to drive the monster back to his monster land, and Ukraine must get back to internationally recognized borders and restore sovereignty and territorial integrity. The war is not only about Ukraine. Russia's brutal, treacherous attack destroyed global security and endangered you, dear world. This is why the war will continue until the triumph of international law, until justice is restored for Ukraine, Europe, and the whole world. It is not for nothing that yesterday the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution calling on Russia to withdraw its troops from Ukraine and stop the war. 141 countries voted for yesterday. 141 countries voted for a year ago. Our support was and remains strong.
This resolution is a powerful signal of unflagging global support for Ukraine, a powerful testament of the solidarity of world community with Ukrainian people in the context of the anniversary of Russian full-scale aggression, a powerful manifestation of global support for Ukraine peace formula.
And even when the hostilities end, the war will continue until every Russian war criminal is punished during a special tribunal. Volodymyr Andrashuk, athletics, 22 years old. Yevgen Malyshev, biathlon, 19 years old. Ivan Bidnyak, bullseye shooting, 36 years old. They will never take part in the Olympics, just like another 217 athletes killed by Russia. Now the International Olympic Committee go and tell murdered Ukrainians' families about the violation of Russian athletes' rights. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor for the President of Ukraine. Hard things in easy terms, sure thing. However, there are hard things that just can't be explained in any easy terms. It's when things are getting personal. It's when a 19-year-old boy, a hope of Ukrainian biathlon, is murdered by Russia, here in Ukraine, at his very homeland. Okay, here are some simple things in even more simple terms. The International Olympic Committee must stop trying to cover up blood spilled by Russia with a white flag. Because, first, over the past 15 years, Russia has broken the Olympic truce at least 3 times, including invading Ukraine shortly after 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing. Second, since February 24th of last year, at least 231 Ukrainian athletes and coaches have been killed by Russia. 15 have been wounded, 28 detained, and 4 are missing. 3. Principles of neutrality in sport cannot apply to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in any way. Approximately 1/3 of Russian athletes participating in the Beijing 2022 Olympics were soldiers in the Russian army and members of its central sports club. 4. Currently, Russian athletes are publicly supporting the war against Ukraine, the occupation of Ukrainian territories, and even visiting the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. 5. Russian sport and the Russian Olympic Committee are integral parts of Russia's imperial propaganda and the state apparatus which is carrying out the ongoing crime of aggression against Ukraine. 6. We will not tolerate the use of sports to support inhumanity and legitimize war and the ongoing genocide of Ukrainians. President Zelensky launched a marathon on honestly to achieve the goal. 7. Dozens of states demand the Russian and Belarusian athletes to be banned from 2024 Olympics. There is no place at the Olympics for representatives of terrorist states and its allies, even if they are under a white flag. 8. Any participation of Russian and Belarusian athletes in the Olympics will result in Ukraine and the international coalition boycotting the event. Because being neutral to a crime is a crime. Being professional is no excuse to ignore, but obligation not to. Russian athletes are amongst the best in the world. Their powerful voices could have been heard and could have made a difference if ever raised. But they prefer to stay neutral. Being neutral to a murder done on behalf of your country makes you nobody else but a neutral murderer. It was Henry Keane on UATV channel explaining some really hard things in really easy terms for you, dear world, directly from Ukraine. Stay safe and tune for more.